So working out how much you're going to need in retirement, pretty big question. What we're going to do first of all is I've got in front of me the PLSA living standards. Do you know what that stands for? Of course you don't.
Pensions and something living standards.
Pension Lifetime Standards Association. Pensions and Lifetime Savings Association. Okay. So they break it down into 3 broad categories. I'll read them off and then we'll have a chat about them. So they say that the minimum level that you need to be able to essentially just survive in the UK is £14,400 for a single person, £22,400 for a couple. That's today.
This is in total.
Can't be in total. Per year.
Oh, per year, per annum.
Per year, not a month.
I was thinking.
Oh, you mean the pot?
Yeah.
The total pot?
Yeah.
Oh no. This is how much you need a year in income.
How much you have to say? Oh, how much you need in income.
And the kind of things that will get you is £100 a year on DIY. £20 for each birthday and Xmas present, as an example. No car. You'll be all right then. Okay, the moderate level, which is like the middle, 31,300 for a single person or 43,100 for a couple. And then comfortable, which I think, most people would aspire to be comfortable in retirement, is 43,100 for a single person, £59,000 a year for a 2-person household. I think these figures will get a lot of criticism. People tend to push back on them and say, God, that's well too much. You don't need that much. To those people, I say, well done for having your own number in mind. I don't mind these numbers because I think at least they put a stake in the ground. I think at least they go, here's a number, because most people don't have that number. The other issue with them is, though, they're not inflation adjusted. So they're today's living standards.
So the value's going to go down over time.
Well, the cash, yeah. So, if you say, oh, I need 43 grand a year now in 30 years, you won't get much money for that.
So how do we figure out how much we actually need?
Well, you would take the figure. So let's say you're using these figures, or you've gone away and gone, what I think is a good thing to do is to go, how much do I need today? Remember that you're not going to have certain expenses. Like you're not going to be traveling to work, and ideally you wouldn't have a mortgage. You would have paid off a home, but you may not have. But you will have other expenses. For example, you're basically on a 7-day weekend, so you might be going out and socializing or whatever. So I think if you look at what you need today, and then you take the monthly figure or the yearly figure, and then you go, how many years until retirement, and you use an inflation calculator to say that you think inflation will be 3% a year, and that'll spit out a figure at the end, and that figure is going to be pretty big if it's 30 years. I think, as a base, I haven't tested these numbers, but I think if you took about 30 odd grand today and adjusted it for inflation then it would be near, say, 70 grand in 30 years.
But these figures, they don't include rent because they're assuming that you've paid off your mortgage.
These figures do. The PLSA, they assume that you paid off a home. So yeah, it's a pretty big ask. And if you want to know the impact of a home on a retirement pot, you take whatever the annual amount is you need to spend on rent and you multiply it by 25. And that would give you the pot that you would need to sustainably pay that rent.
Why do you multiply it by 25?
Because that means then you can take out it gives you a portfolio, a pot of cash that you can withdraw 4% from a year, which is a rough rule of thumb, so that you can support that rent. That's going to add a lot of pressure. I think, how much do I need for retirement is a completely personal question that you need to be asking yourself from a young age, and then constantly tweaking that as you go through life. I think the certainties are you should aim to not have rent to pay, or you should aim to have a portfolio of assets that can support rent if you're going to do that. But you want to relieve that pressure if you can. And the PLSA, who will link below, they at least have a guideline, and what you can do is you can go through their minimum, moderate and comfortable living standards and go, yeah, that's the kind of life I would like to live. Okay, I'll use that as the way I would work it out. I think most people expect to have a really comfortable retirement and are saving a minimum amount. I think to hit that comfortable level, you need to be probably saving quite a lot.
What if you want to get above comfortable? Want to get like,
you want to ball out
exclusive, because you work all your life. Do you just want to be comfortable in retirement, or do you want to be like everything, like money is no object?
Okay, so if you're going to retire for 30 years and you're going to work for 30 to 40, how much money are you going to need to save to not work for that period of time? Basically, everything
all
you've
of it,
spent,
all of it, pretty much all of it. If you want to pull out, yeah.
Everything you've spent in your life working, you're basically going to need to save that amount. Obviously, compounding helps you in these kind of things, and you're getting a return on your investments. But it just helps people frame it of like, how are you going to live a better life in your retirement
when
than
you're
you
not
do
working,
today
yeah.
when you're working right now? It's certainly possible, but I think people just need to be really intentional about it and have a figure in mind and get to saving if that's what they want.
And it definitely helps if you've got if there are two of you in the household.
Oh, this is a great point. Yeah, well done, Tamain.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Dave. Man.
So the pressure on people is much worse if they're alone, because not to mention as well, currently state pension, we can't say what will happen in 30 years, but if you've got a couple, that can be say nearly 20 odd grand coming in state pension alone between you. If it's one, it's say 11, 12. So, and also two sets of pensions, all of this stuff, and the economies of scale of food and things. You know, you go to a supermarket, it's very hard to shop for one person. Yeah. You can't be like, I just want 2 bread rolls and
one sausage or like 2 sausages.
4 munch 2, please. Like they always giving you a multi-pack of munch 2 and pour the whole lot in every time. Do you know what I mean? It's much cheaper to shop for 2 people.
Yeah.
So actually, yeah. How much do I need for retirement? You need a partner. You need a house that's fully paid off if you can. That would be great.
Or a harem.
Yeah, well, that gets...
Then your costs probably go up as well, though.
Who's harem? No, I'm joking. Is that your cousin?
No. Auntie harem.
No, yeah, a harem. I mean, I think they get pretty expensive, man.
Yeah,
I think it goes the other way, to be honest. Yeah, I think there's reverse economies of scale.
Trying to collect 6 pensions, end up paying out loads. Yeah. Not the best.
I got a big personal finance question for you. Perhaps the biggest one. When can you retire? Really, this question is impossible to answer without doing a bit of digging into the specifics. And it's not something that I can answer for you because, unfortunately, I'm not your qualified financial advisor. So what we've started doing is working with financial advisors that we like, who can help people who want an answer to that question. You'll recognise some of them from being on the podcast. You can book a call with them, they'll take your information, and using software and their expertise, they'll help forecast your financial future. If you're interested, there's more information on that service in the description for you.